Guys, welcome to episode 2, whatever this episode is, of this very weird First Timers podcast. My name is Jerry. I'm here with my boy Alan.
What's good?
Welcome to the audio version only. Gives us more time to, it's easier than with the camera right now, so we can just talk freely
and
talk
dress
our
bummy.
Shit. Dress bummy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you guys don't have no idea how broke we are yet, but
That's
soon you will know.
Possibly have a drink. Who knows?
Yeah. Now, this podcast is basically to just kind of escape, join our little world, have some fun, bullshit for maybe an hour and a half, whatever we feel like it that day. Yeah, man. So let's start off, how's your week going? How you doing?
It's been pretty fucked up, honestly.
Yeah, I feel that.
Honestly, this year has been pretty bad. I can't front. There's some bright spots, obviously, in it. That's in everything, everything that's dark and bad about all this shit and these times. You always got to try to find the brightness, the light in it, or if you can't find it, you try to create one for yourself, try to find a hobby, whatever it might be, Yeah. But yeah, just trying to live through it one day at a time. You feel me?
Yeah, I was actually just listening to Michelle Obama. She was talking in I don't know if it was an interview or her podcast or something, but she was talking actually a pretty good point about when it comes to talking about depression and kids, which I thought was kind of interesting in terms of what you're saying about everything this past year. And it was how it's harder for kids to kind of get through this time because as you get older, you have more perspective on different things. So, if you're older, it's we've been through some tough shit before. So we know how to get past it and go, move forward. The younger generation, they're so young, they haven't had that yet. And I thought that was a pretty good point, is probably why, at least what we've noticed, people our age that hang around with us, being 24 years old, it's definitely at a time where it's I'm still younger, so it's easy for me to get depressed, but I also have been through, not a lot in life, obviously, but I've seen a decent amount in life to know that it's there has to be some kind of hope and other side of this coming out.
I agree.
When we were young, let's say when we started kindergarten, 9/11 happened. Literally the year I started kindergarten, it was that month, a few days into going to school. I remember it was weird because I was I went to school the first day, normal day. Second day, same thing, normal day. And then the third day, we get pulled out earlier and told to go home. And I thought it was kind of weird. I remember getting off and my mom...
I was still in the city at that point, bro. I was there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I remember being up here. They sent us home too for some reason.
It was crazy, yeah. My dad was one of the first responders. I guess that shit was crazy.
Yeah. And I remember my parents being at the bus. I'm in my head, I'm wait, my parents are supposed to be at work. And I just left for school. Why are they here? So it was certain things like that they had explained to me that it's at an early age, I realized really horrific shit can happen at any minute that randomly. So and then, to be in that war, by the time we were leaving high school, that, we finally got Osama 10 years later when we were in high school type shit. So it's I feel we've had, also just minor things I remember being in the third grade with Tom and our teacher bringing us a Time magazine about global warming. We've been instilled in certain things that it's not everything is safe, not everything, but you got to find a way to persevere and get through.
Exactly.
And I can't think of something in a recent time that if you're really young, if you're in middle school, elementary school, even your early years of high school, I can't really think of things that you had to firsthand experience to be oh shit. So it's so you know what I mean. So it's one of those things I'm at least thankful that we are able to have that perspective.
I agree.
Of hey, we've seen some bad shit, and that can help get us through these tougher times.
I think to build on that too, honestly, it makes it a lot tougher for the kids nowadays, especially during the pandemic. Because like I said, back then, we got to live through it, see it, and a lot of it, we were all together for it. You know what I'm saying? We all had each other on top of that. Where obviously nowadays it's much tougher because everybody's either at school, at home, everything is on their computers and phones and shit like that too. They don't have that kind of social comfort that we did growing up. You know what I'm saying? So so it's gonna be a lot tougher for these kids to deal with shit like that. If hopefully God, nothing crazy like that ever happens again.
Yeah.
For them to even deal with it,
Yeah, I find it really weird that I can't imagine what it would to be in high school right now, because it's
I know.
so much of your life is your social interaction.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, I just think of, like, some of the long-lasting friendships I have to this day that were never because of anything crazy. It was just randomly we were in the same place at the same time one day in school, where there was, like, an auditorium, a classroom, whatever, and we just started to talk.
My friend Carl.
Exactly. But, like, where it's like you just met somebody, and you're just like,
That's
oh,
yeah.
like...
I fuck with you now. Like,
yeah, like, yeah, I mean, so it's like... So it's like, I when I think of just even minor things like that, or just like how like one random day could be like so effective to kind of like the rest of your high school life.
Yeah.
That it's like, to not have that, to like have to just be home and you guys only see each other through your phone. Like, to me, it's just so...
It's so... I know like having a phone is like a big thing for technology because it's all the information in the world's there. Everything's there. But there's also like a downside to that too because everybody's stuck on it. You know what I'm saying? People don't even look up anymore from their phones.
Well, this is my fucking problem with people, actually. Because I get what you're saying, but I've noticed a lot. This is about to take a weird left turn from the serious talk we just had. But I just find it personally annoying that motherfuckers could have their phone, all the information right there, and still have no idea what the fuck they are talking about.
Bro. How are people so stupid, but have literally the answers to everything on their phone? But you know the problem is with that, actually. It's because they always follow... Or
no, because they only look at the headline. It's never... Because I've seen a lot of headlines... Because I don't even blame the headlines. The headline is to catch you.
Exactly. It's for the clicks.
But but that's the problem. Nobody clicks anymore. The problem is people just look at the crazy headline and then just move on with their day.
Because people have such a short attention span, they don't even feel like reading a whole article about
but
then try to like be like, oh, I know everything about it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, like the fact that Dr. Seuss is now done, even though it's like, no, he's not.
It's just so stupid.
No, he's not, bro. Because like we just got a shit. Like so I work at a discount store. For anybody who's listening, I work at a discount store. We just got more, like, we have, like, a kids' book section that we have. We just got more Dr. Seuss, like, the Green Eggs and Ham, like, all the classic ones.
I don't know where all that's coming from. They only discontinued, like, 3 books that they didn't even
sell. It's only six. And it's ones they weren't even selling anymore.
Yeah, they were sold for, like, 20 years, so I don't understand why people were freaking out about it. Like,
because this is the problem. This is the problem, and this is for both sides. The people who are part of cancel culture and the people who are against it. The people who are against it, you guys are just as sensitive and just as angry and outraged as the people with the cancel culture.
That I do agree with.
Because the thing is, it's supposed to be a medium of it. Meaning, we don't completely erase everything. So, like, Dr. Seuss is the example. We still have Dr. Seuss books. It's just, there were certain ones that were not racist.
Yeah, they're not PC.
Not even PC. Racist. The difference between PC and racist. These ones were just blatantly racist shit. And they basically amplified negative stereotypes. Mm-hmm. So the company did the right thing. All right, we're just not going to sell these ones anymore. They never said Green Eggs and Ham was racist. They never said Cat in the Hat was racist. Yeah. Even though, don't get it... And this is the thing. I'm going to say all this stuff. Nobody should be coming at me. What you should do, the smart thing is, go do research. Go look at the history of Dr. Seuss himself. Go look up his history of where he was raised, how he was raised, what he went to school for. Because what people don't know is before he went to make children's books, he was making political cartoons that, you know, depending on which side you were on, could come across as offensive. Yeah. Now, I've seen some of them. Not all of them were that offensive to me. I thought actually some of them were pretty clever. Yeah. But he did have certain ones that were, you know, like the classic drawing a black person with the big monkey-looking lips. Like just certain shit like that it's like, yeah, it's probably not good to sell that shit and amplify negative stereotypes. Yeah. But, again, you can still read your kid Green Eggs and Ham if he wants it on a train or on a plane or in a box with the fox. Who gives a shit?
It's a fucking kid's book, bro. Like, it's not
that serious.
It's not that serious.
First of all, I stopped reading Dr. Seuss when I was a kid. I stopped reading them after, like, 5. So it's like I don't really know how much people really give a shit about this.
That's because we grew up in a golden age of cartoons. So, like, all that shit was just...
Yeah, so it's like... You know, or even like the Mr. Potato Head thing. Like, this, like, that's another problem where it's like the outrage side is more ridiculous than the cancel culture side. Because the cancel culture side, all they're saying with that part is like, we're not canceling Mr. Potato Head. The company itself, all they said was, yo, we're just calling it Potato Head now. That's it. Just the company. Just the company. That's what I'm saying. Not the toys, not the merchandise.
Like they still sell Mr. Potato Head and Mr. Potato Head. Those exist in the company. The company itself is just Potato Head. Because they sell both. That's the only thing they did. And I don't know why people are just freaking out about it.
And people are mad like, oh, they canceled Mr. Potato. Like, no one canceled him. Like, or
that's facts.
the most recent one as of this recording,
Yeah.
People are mad about Pepe Le Pew not being in Space Jam 2. First off, no one said, yo, we're erasing all the old Pepe Le Pew cartoons. No. All they said is going forward, we're probably not going to use him.
Yeah.
Again, I think he's a hilarious character. I don't personally see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm saying. This is the side of, like, why I say the other side is outrage. It's not that I look at them like they're all yelling. Because I understand it. If anything, I'm with them. I don't like that somebody like Pepe Le Pew is never going to be seen again because I think he's personally funny. But I also acknowledge that we're in a time of Me Too and, women being taken seriously for certain things, and to not give off, like, to not say, hey, it's okay to just go up and grab a girl and start kissing her. Mm-hmm. Like, again, I don't see that as what Pepe Le Pew did because he was going for the same bitch the whole time. He only wanted that one bitch. He wasn't going around kissing Bugs Bunny or nobody. He wanted the one bitch. But I understand with how he went with it. Yeah. I can understand, like, okay, yeah, some women can take offense to that. Yeah. So I'm not going to be mad if they decide not to use him again. Guess what? I can just go back and watch the older cartoons. Because guess what? Everybody who's not in that conversation that I see are all, oh, I don't know about Space Jam 2. I don't know. Like, I don't want them to ruin it. So it's like, so even if they make new Looney Tunes shit, y'all are like you're either mad that they're not making it the old way, or you're too scared that they're gonna do something new. So it's like
that's the biggest thing with everything in this world. People hate to see change, but don't want to see the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
And so like, what the hell are people? That's something that artists, actor, everything in media people do.
All art is their biggest dilemma right now, which is so everybody wants something new,
but they don't want the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So how do you solve that? That doesn't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and for anybody who's listening to this that is like worried about Space Jam 2, who, the first one's, the original's your favorite and you love it so much, and you don't feel like doing the research, let me tell you right now, I've read the premise for Space Jam 2. So if you want to know absolutely nothing, cover your ears now in the next 5 seconds. The synopsis of the movie is supposed to be that LeBron James is trying to connect with his son to do sports. His son doesn't want to do sports. He wants to be a techie kid. So Don Cheadle basically becomes the guy that, like, he works for, like, some CEO of some company that basically hires his son to create something called, like, at least in the synopsis, said the Warner 3000, where basically his kid gets lost in the Warner 3000, so LeBron has to go save him. The Warner 3000 basically is like a VR machine. It's kind of like Ready Player One, but with all the Warner Brothers, all the Warner Brothers stuff. Yeah. So that's why Bugs and them are going to be in it. So it's not like a Space Jam 1 where Bugs and them needed to defeat these guys, so they went and got Michael Jordan because they needed the best basketball player. It's a completely different premise. Like, so, like, that's the thing. It's like, that's where I don't
compare the movies.
That's what they did smart about it. Yeah. We're gonna call it Space Jam 2 to get people in because they're gonna want to see a basketball player with the Looney Tunes having a game. But the premise is gonna be 1,000 times different from what it was before. So, it's like one of those you gotta. And that to me is like, what more do you want? It's so sad. Like, they're giving you another great what's probably gonna be another funny basketball game with the Looney Tunes and now LeBron James instead of Mike. But they're also giving you something different in terms of the story. So it's one of those, if this don't work, I officially don't know what to tell people. That's right.
But the people, because we talk about it all the time, people are going to hate on everything regardless, even if it's good or not. It's just people, nowadays, there's just, the hate is such a powerful force right now, and it's honestly, it hurts.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go as far as like it hurts. I'm not that sensitive about it. I'm just more annoyed that it's like, yo, can I just enjoy things?
That's why it hurts.
Yeah, it's like, can I enjoy that? Like, Zack Snyder is about to make a new Justice League.
If you don't like something, then just don't watch it or just let it go.
Like, no one's putting the gun to your head, bro.
Move on. Like, do something you do like nobody cares to hear everybody's opinion of how much you hate something. Like, nobody in the world gives a fuck about that.
Word, like, again, like, going to one of the conversations we had earlier, like, look, I'm personally not a fan of NBA Youngboy. Like, just his music just don't work for me. But guess what? He's the #1 watched rapper on YouTube. He has an enormous fan base. He's already now worked with, like, Snoop, Migos, J. Cole wanted to work with him. So it's like, yo, no one cares if I have to shit on him.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to go out of my way to shit on him. If anything, I just give him the big ups. Like, yo, keep doing what you're doing. Exactly. Like, you're still making a difference. I always
like to say black men make money, too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You don't gotta like something, but you don't gotta hate on it if you don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody's forcing you to like shit.
Well, I feel like the same thing, and I feel like the thing people push back on is like, oh, what? So you're saying I can't have an opinion? Like, no, you can definitely have your opinion, but just know that you don't have to go out like, don't go out of your way to hurt somebody with their opinion. Like, that's what I feel like people don't realize is sometimes it feels like you're going out of your way.
Just spread hate, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where
Like, if you're having a conversation with somebody and they bring up something like M.A. Youngboy, you'd be like, oh, I'm not a fan of his music, or I am a fan of his music. It could be like that, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, if you go out of your way just to spread hate, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just unnecessary energy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
that's what I'm saying. So that's all the whole point, I guess, with this is people save your energy, be positive.
You know what I'm saying? Put it to something good, you know?
Word. Now to be more positive.
The world needs more help.
Certified Lover Boy is gonna fucking blow up the world when this shit comes. Like the fact that people are getting the vaccine now, they're saying summer might be open. Yo, Drake's about to take over the summer.
Yeah, 2021 is gonna be a big Drake year, I believe.
I cannot wait. After hearing the 3-pack between What's Next, Lemon Pepper Freestyle, and
for some reason also it's gonna be both Drake and Travis. I feel like Travis is gonna surprise drop his album. Like, he's not gonna say nothing. I feel like he's gonna surprise drop.
You don't think he's gonna take a long time like he did with Astro World?
Well, of course he's going to, but like
that's why I don't think it's coming anytime soon because
Nah, I think it might come out this year. Probably like late. I think like fallish though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I haven't. Have you noticed though? He got a bunch of chains specifically made for Utopia. That
he's getting shit done made for him. Like, he also has like Sharpies made that's a Cactus Jack on it, bro. How do you get Sharpie to collab with you, bro? That's legit.
First of all, that is some boss shit. But nah, apparently he, from what I saw, like somebody, like people on the internet had shown, like, because I remember he had posted it, and then it came out later that apparently he got all those chains and was giving one out to each person that is on like that like feature of Astro World. And the two that they've seen with it so far is Young Thug, which is, I mean, if you're a Travis fan, you know him and Young Thug is a no-brainer. Yeah. And Roddy Ricch was spotted with the chain. Nice. So, and it's a weird looking chain. Like, it's like not something that could look like, so like it's like it's a chain with like this weird, like, you know, like how Travis has like, you know, the weird face artwork type shit. And it looks amazing. Like, I can't, like, I wanted one of those. I was like, can I find a way to work on this album just
how much that chain?
Where, like, can I just get like a one ad lib and get a chain, please? Yeah, no. So I definitely think Travis is definitely got a shot to.
Yeah, but this will definitely be Drake's year, 100%. If he decides to drop, at least. Like, you know,
and see, that's the thing. That's where my other biggest question is like.
You said New Year's.
Like, I know somebody like Young Thug will drop his album even if Drake drops his album this year. Same thing with, you know, Migos, right? Like somebody like Roddy Ricch, like all these guys, when they have another album coming out, they'll drop it even if Drake's got something coming out that same year. Yeah. Now they won't put it anywhere near when his drops. Yeah. So the fact that nobody knows when Certified Lover Boy is gonna drop, but Drake, do you think it's making some artists like? You think maybe that's why we're not getting a lot of new music from bigger artists because like. They like that fear of like I don't want to drop right now and then next week fucking Drake decides to drop Certified Lover Boy and all the attention is taken away from me.
I would say it actually depends on the artist
because I feel like the only one that's really that won't drop like that honestly I'm gonna hate to say this but something tells me that when Drake drops is the only time we're gonna get any kind of indication when Kendrick comes.
I agree.
I don't think Kendrick's coming anytime soon now because he knows Drake is coming.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think it depends on the artists because I think some artists is gonna drop when they're ready, just good and ready, whatever. It doesn't matter if Drake's dropping the same week or not. Like you said, it probably won't be the same. They probably will see if Drake's dropping. They probably won't drop it the same day. Maybe like a couple weeks, give or take.
Yeah. I still think like if Drake drops, I think like a few weeks later, Thug would be like, all right, maybe I'll drop my album.
Yeah. Once the hype starts to.
I feel like I feel like for Kendrick though, it's like once Drake comes out, it's like okay, I'm gonna sit a little longer.
Yeah. I think because we've waited so long for Kendrick's album, and he knows people have been waiting dumb long for this motherfucker. I think he's gonna drop when he's ready. I think he's gonna do exactly what he did for Damn. He's gonna drop a video out of nowhere, and then the album next week type shit. Like, you know.
Yeah, I don't know, because I have like a weird, like, that's just like my conspiracy theory, but I do have like a weird conspiracy theory that like, that like Kendrick and Drake have some kind, like not beef, I wouldn't call it beef because I feel like that gets taken out of context nowadays.
Yeah.
People think beef means like, oh, they have a problem. But I feel like it's definitely like, I feel like Kendrick and Drake are the only two that look at each other as competitors.
100%. Because Kendrick has said it 100 times too. If you're not trying to be the best, what the hell are you doing? So I think he understands Drake's position in the world of the rap game and how big he is. He's probably the biggest star in the world right now.
He is the biggest artist.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Kendrick, someone like Kendrick who's a competitive person like that who just wants to be known as.
That's why I say I don't think. That's why I say
I
don't think he drops anywhere near him unless his move is to take over his shit.
I think if he's gonna drop, he's gonna want to drop before Drake does. But if Drake does it, he's gonna wait.
And that's why I don't think he's gonna do it anytime soon because I feel like Kendrick's gonna want. Because I also feel like Kendrick's. I personally believe when everything that happened this past year with the Black Lives Matter, with Trump, with everything, I believe Kendrick went back in the studio and rethought certain shit about what his album was gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Not in terms of the sound or the style, but maybe the content.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess it just makes me think he might wait till after Drake because it's like one of those, like, I don't want people to get distracted between what our competition is. This music's going to be about something else, and I need this message to resonate, which means like I need this message at a time where no one's focused on you.
Interesting. So
that's my only theory to why I think that. But don't get me wrong, if I really wanted it in a perfect world, these two would just drop the album right now. Like, they would drop both albums right now, and I could just listen to that for the rest of the day.
You know, I wouldn't be mad for a collab album either. Drake and Kendrick collab? That'd be good. That'd be a good dope album. Like an EP, 8 songs, some shit like that.
I don't know.
No?
I guess I just don't see how their
styles?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Future and Drake made sense.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Ye and Hove made sense.
Even a J. Cole and Kendrick would make sense too.
But that's my thing is like
Drake and Kendrick. I think that would work though. I do.
See, that's the thing. If you were to ask me what lyrical guy could mix up with Drake and it makes more sense to me, it'd actually be Cole. Cole would make
I agree.
Cole would just make way much more sense to me.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're actually pretty good homies. Again, whereas like him and Kendrick are probably homies, but I believe they're the only two that they look at as competition. Yeah. So it's never gonna be a completely best buddies type of thing.
But it's always love gonna be there.
Yeah, it's always gonna be love. Yeah. I just think it's gonna be a thing of like we can never really get that close because it's like
I'm always trying to beat you.
Exactly.
And that's the shit we need more in the rap game. I feel like that shit is like non-existent.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't. That's why as much as I like a lot of these artists, I only like them. I don't love any of these artists because
I need a competition.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like I miss growing up where like
we love Slaughterhouse and like all that shit.
But even before Slaughterhouse, like you go to the early 2000s, like Ja Rule, Lil Wayne, T.I., Eminem,
Nas, Jay-Z,
Snoop, Jay. None of them that we just named are similar in any way.
That's facts.
And let's also not forget DMX.
Yeah.
The DMX, none of them were the same. And so not only were none of them the same, their competition was just different. The competition was more interesting because it's like that's why to this day probably one of the greatest arguments that people have is who won on Renegade, M or Hove. And it's such a weird question to ask because you can't really say either because
I have a hard time picking
because their styles are so different and the message of both of their verses in that song is so different on Renegade that it's like that's to me is the fun of the competition. It's like these two niggas are so different. I don't know how to really compare these lyrics and compare them. It's just like which do you prefer on that day type of thing for me at least. But I miss those days where it's like you could genuinely ask like, oh, who took out who on the track? And I don't feel that today. Like I remember I had one.
Well, what about like diss tracks? We don't even see a lot of diss tracks anymore.
Well, I don't mind the diss track, but like here's what I mean is like
I need more diss tracks.
Like I remember like I hate when somebody. So like how you and me were talking about with the other day how you said the one song you didn't like as much on the 3-pack from Drake was the one with him and Lil Baby.
Yeah.
To me, the reason that was one of my favorites on the 3-pack was because of what you were just saying. Where when Lil Baby was rapping on that, it felt like he was like, okay, I'm on a track with Drake, I can't let this motherfucker out rap me. I gotta try to out rap him before he can out rap me, even though I'm the feature.
That's how I feel about Dirk.
And so, exactly. So those guys give me that vibe. But like, I remember somebody came up to me one time and had said something really stupid. I'm not gonna say whose name it was on here, but they were like, Sway Lee bodied Post Malone on the Sunflower song. I said, what the fuck did you just say? What? First of all, that's a song for a soundtrack for an album for a movie.
Yeah.
They got in there and the whole vibe was like, let's make this dope song that.
That was more a vibe. That wasn't even rap.
That's a vibe. That's what I'm saying. So it's like when people say shit like that, it's like, what do you mean they body like?
That was a collective work. That wasn't like a.
But I feel like what people do is they listen to music now and go, oh, I like this person over that person. That means they bodied them. Like, no, that's not what being bodied on a track is. Being bodied is like, again, like, example basically is like Kendrick on Control.
Yeah.
Like, that's bodying everybody on that. That's bodying, right? Or even, and here's the, but even like hardcore rap fans will even say that wasn't the greatest. It was just we hadn't had something like that in so long that it felt like that.
And that low-key put them on the map, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm saying with the swing pools and all that.
Yeah. And so I just find it just... So I guess like my overall point, because there's like a lot of tangents I'm going on here. But it's just like this thing of getting bodied on a track is more of like a competitive term when two people are trying to out-rap each other. Exactly. And I just feel like we don't get that anymore. I definitely think there's signs of it though. I think there's definite signs of it kind of coming back. All it's gonna take is for.
That's why I really fucked with the Dreamers album because I feel like it was that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's just trying to be the best.
Everyone's trying to be the best rapper on these tracks.
You know what I'm saying?
But even then, it's like it was done in a very friendly way. I kind of miss having it when it was a little bit more like, a little bit more spice to it. I guess I would say like a little bit of. Like it's one of those things of like, it's almost like competition. Like when you're playing basketball or football, you could be playing ball with your boy.
Yeah,
he'll foul you real hard, and like you get knocked down, you get hurt. You're gonna get up and want to punch him. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But that's still your boy. You don't want to actually hit him. But you'll still fight. But that's the more the competitive nature I want to see in rap again. Where it's just like I want to believe you two will fight each other in the studio right now over these verses, even though, but like meaning like. You just outdid me on my song, and now I'm annoyed, so I want to punch you in the face.
Like that song Forever, like when Kanye said he rewrote his whole verse in that thing after he heard Eminem shit. Like, it's like
that's what I want to hear.
You know what
Or when Busta Rhymes tells a great story about like the first time he heard, I can't remember if it was just Eminem in general or like, I can't remember the exact story, but I remember reading a story how Busta Rhymes like the first time he heard Eminem shit, got so mad he threw a chair out like into like the tour bus window or something. Like he broke like a window throwing a chair into it, hearing Eminem for the first time, or like how Jay on the song "Star Was Born" with him and Cole, when he says like I had the Illmatic on bootleg, the shit was so ahead, I thought we were all dead. Like I miss rappers being afraid of other rappers.
Exactly.
Like Nas said it was just in an interview the other day where he said like. None of these, he likes a lot of these rappers, but none of them keep him up at night.
And honestly, he was being facts.
Yeah. I think, and like I said, I definitely think there's some that's like.
They have a lot of some that definitely have potential. There's some that I actually really like.
Yeah, I think guys like, I think both Lil Baby and Da Baby, and I think, Dirk, they're definitely, those are like three contenders I can think of automatically of like, when they get to rapping, it's like, they are spitting some shit.
Facts.
I just wish they were given the opportunity to. Not even opportunity. I wish the public or the general hip hop fans that are just general fans now, I wish they were more into it to understand why lyrical stuff is so important so that they would then have the opportunity to really go make those kind of songs. Because like I understand like why somebody like a Lil Baby would like, he'll do his rap shit with Drake, but I can understand like if his first single for his new album, if it was something more poppy and stuff for like parties. Like I get it because that's what the general fans
sell. That's honestly party and sex, all that shit sells, man.
Yeah, But I feel like in hip hop, it's always been a thing of like when we grew up in the early 2000s. Again, like you'd have that one song that's like on the radio and it's popping and it's everywhere. Like that's probably got Ludacris on it. You know what I mean? Like exactly.
Yeah.
But then you have Wayne going and doing a milli where it's a weird beat and he's just rapping dumb hard.
Exactly. You had Eminem Stan. You had that was on the radio all over. Yeah, shit like that. Like honestly, the heartfelt shit from rappers that you don't even see a lot these days.
Yeah, like I wish. To me, the last time I personally felt that to an extreme level was when Wayne did How to Love.
Exactly.
I don't know what it is, but there was just
hard, bro.
And maybe it was just the timing. Like we were in high school. Like it was like when I was really getting into rap music. So maybe it was just like the right timing for me and my age and generation. But even to this day, like I can't, at least at the top of my head, think of like you said, like a soulful song like that really
resonates in your soul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's a fact. That's gotten like popular like that.
Exactly, know? Like and I remember as a kid, because my mom, when in high school, she didn't really want me playing explicit lyrics around her. So the fact that I actually had a Lil Wayne song I could play around her that she fucked with and had no cursing, was just a beautiful song, was just like, yeah, it's. I feel like it's been a minute since we got some shit like that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why we fuck with like the people like The Weeknd and shit like that who do that for us.
I hate being a Weeknd fan right now just because like it's so annoying to have to defend this nigga over shit that I shouldn't have to feel like I defend him for. Like the amount of people that are just like his like like his Super Bowl performance or just like his overall. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like we're definitely getting into a spot where it's like he's about to become so much more popular than he's ever been. And because of that, it's going to be the ultimate backlash that every artist always has.
And it sucks too, because like I'm gonna say right now, The Weeknd is a living legend. Like absolutely, dude he's already had a longevity. He's had back to back.
He's goated in my book.
He's goated in my book too. Like you know what I'm saying, like, and that's another thing too about give people their roses. The general public has to start doing that more because, like I said, there's so much hate. People are gonna hate on a person until they die, and then and all of a sudden they're legends,
Yeah.
And that's the worst thing that us as human beings do,
Yeah, like that because that definitely happened with Nipsey. 100%.
Absolutely happened with Pop. It happened with.
Well, no, Pop. I give a difference to because I actually this is the tragic thing about Pop to me was he didn't get that because he was right on the rise. So like I didn't know Pop before, like I didn't really listen to Pop until sadly he passed. But what I can say is right before he passed and then his album eventually came out, remember he passed I think like a week after Meet the Woo 2, the other mixtape he did, the Woo mixtapes had just dropped like the week before he was killed. And I remember like coworkers at my job like just doing the Pop voice, you know what I mean, like trying to like they're like they were just like quoting a lot of Pop lyrics. And I was like, oh, like, it's kind of, like, whatever they're saying just sounded funny to me, because they were doing it in Pop, like, trying to do it in Pop Smoke's voice. And so, then when the Woo and everything came out, that's when I was finally like, oh, this is what people were talking about. And then I started to go in and realize that, at least,
Junior.
So that's the thing, for me, when Pop passed, I was just hearing about him. And I was hearing about him a lot from a lot of people whose music opinion I actually do respect. So I was like, okay. And then when his album came out, The 50 Finish, that's when I was like, oh, this is what we just lost. And this is what people were going crazy about. So that one just makes me more tragic because I feel like he was just at that point where the whole world was really getting to know who he was. And he could have had that and then was taken from us way too early, sadly.
I agree. And
that's the only thing I really hope also this year is if we could just see a lot less death in the rap community. You don't see it in country music. You don't see it with pop stars. It's only rappers that are just...
I forget who said it, but like being a rapper is one of the dangerous jobs out there.
Russ said that shit. A lot of people said that shit. Boosie said, well, I think like the first one to really say it was that became popular was Boosie. Boosie said it.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, so this is so weird. Like, sorry guys, we're jumping around because this is our first time just kind of getting the vibe of what this pod is. But to a point, I almost forgot we had our audience for a second. How you guys doing this far into it? Hope you're doing great. Well, just also I just want to talk about the bar that Drake had on the
Lemon Pepper.
Yeah, when he said I ushered in this generation. These are my confessions lie. That was probably the hardest bar I heard all year so far.
That was pretty hard.
I was like, wow.
I didn't tell you when I first heard that. That was my first song on the
yeah, I was like, wait, it's called Lemon Pepper Freestyle and has Rick Ross. That's not the greatest.
Facts.
The only thing that could have made that song better is if I had literally just got Wingstop. That's the only thing that could have made my day better at that point. Which also, I feel as a black man, I must confess, I have not had lemon pepper wings. I'm seeing a lot of people that are finally trying it and they're going nuts over it. So I feel like I now have to.
Well, as black man myself, it's not my first choice of wing flavor. But it's definitely good. I definitely recommend to try it.
All right. Yeah, I feel like it's one of those ones like I gotta at least try. You know
yeah, of course. Yeah. You know, especially if you're a fan of wings.
I am a fan of wings.
You know what I'm saying?
God, now I want wings.
We'll go to Wingstop after this. Don't worry about
it. Oh, thank God. But yeah. I mean, so the transition away from music for a little bit. Let's talk about some other shit. You know, I don't know if you watched. Well, yeah, you probably haven't. But for anybody out there, there's a great documentary right now on HBO Max called Allen versus Farrow. It's basically telling the story from the beginning of Mia Farrow and Woody Allen's relationship. If you don't know about it, I highly recommend you go watch it. It's a great doc. It is very. I'll give you guys the warning now. If you have kids, it's a bit sensitive to watch. It's pretty graphic. Not graphic in the sense of what they show, but just graphic in terms of the subject.
What he actually does. Yeah.
It's pretty graphic in that sense. So I'll just give you the heads up. But I just feel like I wanted to highlight it because it's a really well made documentary. I love what HBO Max has been doing, and I do think it's one we need to kind of shine a light on because, again, as much as I understand cancel culture, I don't fully support it. I fully believe that the only way to make better choices moving forward is acknowledging the mistakes that you've made in the past, and as humans, like, we should be acknowledging the bads that happen.
I agree.
You know, like somebody like Woody Allen happened and was able to get away with that because of how much he was beloved in Hollywood as this acclaimed comedy indie director. And so I think it's a good way to show that it's like sometimes you can't let your love of somebody as a fan take over your judgment of what should be morally right and wrong.
Exactly.
You know, like I talk about this all the time, but it's like I don't think it's smart to cancel Bill Cosby in the sense of, look, if you never want to show an episode of Bill Cosby again, okay, fine. You know, if locking him up for what he did, absolutely. But to not acknowledge what his role was in history, I feel like is a very big mistake. You know, people forget he was called America's dad at one point. Like, so think about that. As much as people talk about America being racist, which obviously it is, but like, I mean, to a degree. I believe it's racist to a degree in the sense of I believe there's definitely a good chunk of racist people out there, shit like that. But to me, I look at it as much as like the internet. The internet can make anything seem larger than it actually is.
I agree.
So it's like to cancel Bill Cosby, you're not acknowledging that this was a man who, in a time where it was more okay to be a racist person.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers still looked at him as like, love the Cosby Show though. Like, I love that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He became one of the number one cleanest comedians. Like, never cursed, never talked about bad subjects.
Word.
Shockingly. You know what I mean? Like, but
even after when all that story came out about him, like everybody was shocked about that.
And so to me, it's just one of those things of like, you shouldn't cancel him because we should learn that it's like, when you get that kind of a power, keep yourself in check. Don't ever think it's okay to do what he did.
It doesn't make you a higher place over human beings.
You're not God. That's what it is. It's like,
yeah.
Bill Cosby showed that. So you can be the most loved person in America, and the second you start having a God complex of I can do shit and get away with it because I'm me, that's where you're in for. That's where you're either most likely to make a mistake, or give the people the opportunity to make them think you made a mistake.
True.
You know, so because like
how much money you got?
Yeah, because look, you know, like and a lot of my like this example right now I'm using Bill Cosby, something I've talked to like my grandfather about because obviously he was around during that time, and my grandfather who, you know, some could I guess kind of consider I wouldn't call him a full-on racist, but he definitely has some ignorance to
shit.
Racy. Yeah, like I would call it more just like ignorance to other people.
Yeah.
So even somebody like him, to get his perspective of the whole thing back then, like, you know, his whole thing was like, you know, he looked at me, as like, do you know how many people I went to parties with and did drugs with and had crazy sex with, and neither of us really remembered by the next day? He's like, nah. He's like, I don't remember anything more than she did. So did I rape her? Did we just have really fucked up sex? And like, you know, we both ended up making like, you know, the difference is we were both okay with that choice.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So like that's why I look at it as like, so like I'm saying Bill Cosby obviously did what he did, but let's for argument's sake say he when he testified he didn't do anything wrong and that all these women were already doing drugs. Okay, like let's say that say if that was true, that's still too much of a God complex of you think, oh, I'm Bill Cosby, I can go out and just do drugs with all these women who are already doing drugs and we'll go out to my place, whatever. It's like, okay, now we're in a different era that is making it very clear that shit's still not okay.
Facts.
Like, and even if, not that it's not okay, but like that women can now say, oh, he drugged and raped me.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if you're involving yourself in shit like that, then that's part, like, you know, like that is much of a problem as if you go and do those acts.
Yeah.
And I'm only speaking on like somebody in his status. And that's why I'm saying like we can't really forget him because, you know, we're in an era where, you know, we're having a lot more black actors finally getting a chance to do these kind of things. Let's keep in history of what happened the last time a black person got in that position. Not that any of these people would, but it's always good to keep that reminder of how shit can go wrong. You know, so that's the way I really look at it. It's not like a, you know, free Bill Cosby. Definitely don't let that motherfucker out.
That's facts.
You know what I mean? Like, I get some people feel bad because he's old and they shouldn't be locked up in there. And obviously, I don't wish jail about anybody.
But, like, you do the crime, you gotta do the time, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, that's how it comes down to.
Yeah. So,
but you're right, though. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, people of that status who have that kind of thing, who, like, you gotta understand your position. You gotta understand, like, anything like that. I'm just gonna go to this place, get fucked up with all these drugs. Like, any little thing can be taken the wrong way, even if you don't even realize it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
That's one thing. That's the thing. That's why it's like I'm not putting blame on like every guy because we talked about this before. I don't think every guy's intention is evil and bad. I just feel like we're in such an awkward time in the world right now that it's like there's no real right way for a guy to feel like in the sense of, because look, I know plenty of dudes that are mad confident with their shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're mad confident with how, you know, and not like I'm talking about like their game, but just like they're confident in, like, I'm a confident guy. I definitely have the courage to go up to this girl, tell her that I think she's pretty, offer her to buy her a drink, see where it goes from there. You know, but then there's other guys who are very, very insecure. And I feel like those are the guys that get labeled as usually like weirdos or creepy and stuff. It's like, no, it's just we live in a weird time where it's like sometimes they don't know how to just approach you.
Yeah. Socially awkward, you know what I'm
saying? Yeah, some people are just really socially awkward. And then when you have things on top of it, like a pandemic, you know what I mean? Social distancing. Yeah, it's like, it's not really making people more sociable and better. You know what I mean? Like, I was, obviously, as you know, like, you know, I was a very shy person for a long time. And it wasn't until I moved to the city and forced myself to be around people every day and socialize that I became a much more social and happier and better person. Like, I became better at communicating with people. But then once I came back here and then we had the pandemic shut down, I feel like I'm right back to where I started, where it's like I don't know how the fuck to talk to people sometimes. I feel the same way. Yep. You know, so it's like, yeah, so it's just like a weird thing, you know, and that's why I said, like, you gotta be careful of what situations you put yourself in, especially if, you know, and not to get all biased and political on people, but it's like, just for other people like you and me, if you're a young black man out there, it's very easy for you to always be looked at as a target for so many different things in this world.
That's a fact.
So it's like, just try to be smart about how you approach people and stuff like that. You know, because even to use a more recent example, you know, you got T.I. and Tiny, you know, with their sexual allegations.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know, you know, I'm not going to make my judgment, obviously, because it has nothing to do with me, but, you know, the only thing I would say to that is, you know, that's another reason why you got to be careful, because, again, if what they're saying is true, and, you know, they like to have threesomes once in a while with another girl around, okay, like, that's your choice as a couple.
Live your road.
But know that that third person is not in your relationship, in your world, in your marriage, so they have that opportunity to go make you guys look like bad people.
Yeah.
And so it's just like one of those things you always got to be careful about. And, you know, I just try to spread that because, again, I I think more of these people that get accused of stuff. I'm talking about like a day-to-day person, not celebrity stuff like that. But like a lot of day-to-day people get like fucked up. I've seen dudes that that work with me that get fired because they approached a girl the wrong way, and I don't think that that's what that dude's intention was. Mm-hmm. But because he doesn't have an awareness, or maybe like I even think back, maybe I should have said something at the time. Like he didn't have enough people around him to be like, hey, don't.
You can't say
don't
that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Or like the other thing is like just don't do it to that person.
Yeah.
That person's not the right person for you to say that to, and it ended up being we were correct. Yeah. That wasn't the person. So it's like, and again I feel bad because like, now that dude doesn't have a job, and that's not on him. That's on the fact that he made a dumb choice of how he approached the girl.
He just didn't know better.
Exactly.
Whatever his environment might be growing up, whatever.
Exactly. And there's definitely somebody who probably didn't have the right guidance.
And people don't take that into consideration. People just think people are just born monsters and shit like that too. That's mostly never the case. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough. It's tough out here.
Yeah, it is. But I think there's a lot of. I think throughout this whole thing, I guess to end this shit on a more positive note, I definitely think we're in a better space, I would say, once this vaccine rolls out and shit starts to really.
I think we're in the mud right now, but once we get out of it, hopefully be a little more smooth sailing. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't think, like, when I mean that is, like, I don't mean completely out of the woods, but, like, I think it's going to be much better when, like, this summer. I don't think everything's going to be reopened by the end of this summer. Yeah. Hopefully it will. But, like, if it's not, if at least just, like, enough people get the vaccine that enough people can go out in public and we don't have to have mask mandates, like, I feel like even if we're not fully there, I just feel like the vibe of that little bit of freedom, mm-hmm. I feel like we're going to have a much better appreciation for, like, I almost kind of miss people bumping into me. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so long since somebody accidentally just went like, oh, my bad, bro.
Sorry, bro.
And you get mad for a sec, but now it's like, if somebody bumps into me, you're like, oh. Like, hey. We're allowed to be this close again. That's the way I would look at it. Like, we're allowed to be this close to each other again. Like
that's facts, bro. Even when I went back to the city a couple weeks ago, and it's just like a fucking ghost town right now. It's so weird. And it made me a little sad. I was like, damn, I miss getting mad at people just in my way all the time.
Yeah. Like, you never... Yeah, that's the one thing.
You don't appreciate things until it's gone, type shit.
And you know what I also realized? Now I guess I really understand why they call that shit the Roaring 20s. Because I feel like...
It's definitely the Great Depression, my nigga.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like, granted, we still have a lot of other work to do even besides this pandemic. We still got to clean this earth.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because look, whether you believe the global warming shit or not, at the end of the day, the earth is still fucking disgusting and filthy. It needs to be clean. We need to make a better environment for our kids moving forward.
I agree.
But I just feel like when this whole shit is like done,
like said and done,
yeah. Like when this shit is, whenever that is, even if it's the end of this year, end of next year, whenever they say like masks no longer need to be worn, enough people are vaccinated.
No more
this is not. This is like no more social. You can finally get back to like movie theaters at 100% capacity. Like when we get to that point, whenever that is, I really feel like this entire world is gonna start living it up and partying crazier than we ever have before.
Oh yeah, Future's mask off is gonna be number one.
Oh my god!
For 2 months.
2 months? That's just good
for a year.
Year at the minimum, my guy. At the minimum.
Mask off.
Like, I just find it so weird to be like, wow, we're already in March of 2021.
It's been a year since this whole shit started, bro.
And I just find that so weird that it's like it's been over a year now since I've been to a theater.
Yeah. No, we went to one last summer. We saw
but in a non-pandemic way.
Oh yeah.
Like it's really crazy to me to think that like the last time I was in a ginormously every seat filled packed theater.
You know the last movie you saw?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like the last movie I saw wasn't like this. Was I'm setting it up like this. Like the last time I was in a crowded, crazy theater was for Star Wars. Now, the very last movie I saw in a theater before the pandemic was the The Way Back with Ben Affleck, the one where he plays a basketball coach and recovering alcoholic.
I don't remember the last movie I saw before pandemic. It wasn't Star Wars, I don't think.
Yeah, well, that was the last one I saw where it was like a giant, like
Yeah.
the whole theater was packed out, and it was like, I wish the movie was really better than if that was gonna be our last big movie like that, and I feel
it was
like
an empty
we all
theater
would
when I saw it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we all would have appreciated that movie a little bit more had we known like what was about to happen.
That's a fact.
But
that's crazy. Yeah, there's some things like I said, you don't, you start appreciating things once it's gone, type shit. So, yeah. Although I
don't appreciate Rise of Skywalker though. Fuck you and everybody. I'm never gonna let that shit go.
I do concur. But I just say I don't think everything will go back to normal per se. Even honestly, there's gonna be a time where we're gonna start wearing masks and maybe the social distance might be like, whatever. But I think our mental, emotional takeaway from everything is never gonna change.
No, but that's why I believe we're all gonna. That's what I mean to what I said though is we're all now in a position where we understand how quickly everything can go. Mm-hmm. We understand how quickly everything can go to hell. Mm-hmm. We now understand how quickly the biggest businesses can just go to shit. And obviously not big business like Amazon, but I'm talking about like an AMC theaters, like just certain like.
Well, Amazon's different because they made a profit off.
No, that's why I said I'm not including them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not them. I'm saying. No, things like AMC, how quickly they can fall, how quickly stuff like that can fall. That it's like, that's why I think we're gonna party and live crazier than we ever have because we finally have a better appreciation for just life itself.
I just miss going to a bar and paying $15 for a drink, bro.
Yeah. I just missed the bar.
Damn, man, that's a fact.
Yeah, but it's all good. Listen, in 1 week from now, we'll be doing a whole spoiler review for Snyder Cut. We'll be doing a whole review for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Stay tuned for that.
Word. I mean, that's just gonna be dope in itself. It's a 4-hour movie. And fuck you to anybody complaining because you guys will sit there and binge watch a whole new season of Stranger Things in 1 weekend sitting, but can't sit down for 4 simple hours.
That's the thing. It's not like you're in a movie theater where you have to sit down, bro. You can pause it. You can do literally whatever the.
What's crazy though?
Want. Like,
what's crazy? I've been talking to a lot of people though, and just reading like a lot of other shit that's actually been a huge problem for people lately.
Really? Like pausing shit and.
So yeah, so I remember I was listening to the Breakfast Club, and I think it was Angela Yee who was saying like. She kind of has a problem with like she started watching Coming to America, but then ended up pausing it and then got busy doing other shit. I talked to other people who have like, they say they tried to watch like Tenet when it came out on streaming, and they were just like, like they didn't really like get into it. They kept going to their phone, listening to the Joe Budden podcast. They all said the same thing actually about Tenet. Like they were trying to watch it from home and just ended up keep getting caught up with shit. Like people are starting, and they were complaining about it. And Charlemagne had then brought up, he's like, I think we need to acknowledge that there is. And I've been saying this from the beginning, nothing is ever going to beat the theater experience.
Oh, yeah.
Watching that shit at home is never going to... You're never going to pay attention as much. You're never going to care as much.
That's a fact.
There's a discipline to going to a theater where you're surrounded by a bunch of people in the dark and okay, I got to turn my phone off, can't look at my phone, so you're kind of forced to be in the movie. And so a movie that you might naturally not want to watch, you end up getting caught up into it because it's like, oh, shit, like this is actually... really interesting compared to
honestly,
your phone.
That's good. We need more of that too because we need to get the fuck out of our phones.
That's my point. That's why I don't support people who are like movie theaters are done. Like no, they're not, bro. They can never be done.
And that's the thing too. How can a movie be done? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not just going to a movie just to see a movie you like. It's for so many different things. Like taking your family. It's an experience. You can take your family a date. You can it's like the movie's just it was an experience. It's like it's more just going to see something.
Bro, like to anybody listening right now, do you really want to see a new horror movie? With like your spouse, partner, your girlfriend, whatever, like just in your room, the two of you. No, you want to be in a fucking theater.
It depends on the movie, I guess.
A horror movie.
Well, it depends on the horror movie. I mean.
No, stop. We're not doing that. See, this is where people try to get into. No. A horror movie is meant to be in a theater setting when you're surrounded by other people. You all jump. Something scary happens. You all jump up. You look at each other.
There's one person in the back screaming as fuck.
That's what I'm saying. And then you look at each other. You laugh, and it's because you're uncomfortable. That's what I'm saying. No, does not depend on the horror movie. Any horror movie in a theater is a much crazier experience than if you are at home by yourself.
That's a fact. I do concur.
So yes, the theaters is something that we need to bring back. Theaters in New York are finally open. Jersey are open. And this week, if you're in LA or in the in California, they're going to be opening within this week. And if you're in New York, it's not just the city. Upstate, all the theater, like our theater, just opened again. So, guys, go support your local movie theater. I get it. It's a pandemic. Obviously, if you can't, you can't. But if you're able to just spare, the $20 for you and your friend to go to see a movie in a theater, it would really help. You know what I mean? Like, people forget that AMC basically put themselves in debt when they started the whole subscription thing that we were doing, where I paid like $20 a month or whatever, and I got to see up to
it was like 3 movies on that.
3 movies a week, bro, and it would always
remember that one, the other one that was like you got to see all those movies and then it failed after like the first month.
Well, because they weren't an actual they were literally just a company that started doing that. They weren't like an AMC where it's like we're a movie theater chain. We can do this. So
I feel like they were over their heads when they did that. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. See, that's one of the things. Never look at that shit as like, oh, they were in over their heads. Just enjoy it for what it was.
I never got to enjoy it. I never used it. I paid for it and never got to use it.
Oh, see, well, then that's your own fault. Cause I told you months before to get it, and you never listened.
Yeah, you did.
And by the time you had gotten it didn't work, guess what?
Up,
This motherfucker already saw 50 movies with that shit. So I got my money's worth out of it. But
that was whack.
But bottom line is, AMC, they did go into a lot of debt when they started their subscription base to see 3 movies a week. They literally were just starting to see a profit off it when the pandemic happened.
I was even thinking about buying it too, honestly.
And that's the thing. So I don't know where they're at with that right now, but obviously, again, the theaters are open. Go support your local theaters. If you're tired of seeing the blockbuster movies, you're tired of seeing the same movies over and over again, there are plenty of great indie films that are out right now. Just like I said, go check out your local theater. Guess what? If you see a movie that you never heard of it, you may not know all the actors, and you just haven't heard of it, go check it out. It might be the best movie you've seen this year.
Those are the type of movies people end up loving more. Type shit. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to advocate in this podcast for people to expand your watching habits. And if you're somebody out there who complains, I'm tired of seeing the same shit over and over again, throughout this journey of this podcast, you will learn, and I will help you guys learn, that the only way to get that done is through your dollars. And it's seeing the movies and paying for the movies, really paying for them, not bootlegging it, not streaming it later on when it's free, but going to a theater and paying for this movie tells that theater and the people who make these movies, hey, this is what we want to see. So definitely do that, guys. Thank you for definitely listening this far to this weird-ass podcast.
Weird-ass podcast. There's a name.
Nah, because somebody probably already has it. If they don't, that'll be the podcast. That'll be great, actually. If not, we're going to name it after some fucking DMX album. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But thank you again, guys. I've been your host, Jared.
I've been Alan.
And we will see you next week for some Snyder Cut. I was actually just stretching my arm. I didn't need you to high-five me, but hope nobody heard
you got
that.
it, bro.
Alrighty. Thank you, guys. Until next time.
Until next.